Welcome to Voice of Super, ASFA's podcast for the superannuation sector by the superannuation sector. I'm Madeleine Morris and I am here at the ASFA Conference 2025 where the energy has been absolutely phenomenal, and undoubtedly one of the highlights, the absolute highlights, has been having our two winners of the Future Leaders competition present. Now, this was a competition that ASFA put out to invite people working in superannuation under the age of 40 with less than 10 years experience in the industry to submit their one super big idea for what would make superannuation fantastic. We were absolutely overwhelmed by the number and the quality of entries. It was very difficult to choose some winners. We did manage to get two though, and I have them here sitting with me today, Jack and Dajana. Fantastic to see you both. Thank you for the ASFA Conference. How's it been for you?
Oh, it was thoroughly enjoyable, Mads. I mean, I think we talk about assets and value a lot when it comes to the superannuation industry, but the real asset that we have is our people, and the value of that has been proven to me writ large through this conference. All the conversations I've had, all the insights I've gleaned. It's been a real privilege. Loved it.
Oh, good. Well, it was thanks to Naviji that we were able to bring you up here as our partners. I know this is your first ASFA conference.
The first conference, first time on stage, first big presentation in front of more than 5 or 6 people. So it's honestly, I feel so honored. It's such a privilege to be here. I think, watching him and Jack's presentation yesterday, it was actually amazing. I would love to go and watch all the people that, applied online, and to hear their ideas, because I can imagine you had so many fantastic candidates.
We did, and you two won though, and part of your prize was you got to present on the main stage at the conference your one super big idea. So let's hear it. Dana, what was your one super big idea for Privy Super?
My big idea was quite simple, I think. It was to make superannuation a part of the official immigration and settlement process and really educate those early on. Everyone gets a tax file number, everyone gets a Medicare card, everyone, opens a bank account. Why is there no super in the conversation? My parents came here, there was no understanding of super, barely were making it day by day. And I think had someone, educated them early when we arrived, I think my family's position would be a lot stronger than what it currently is. But I'm just really fortunate that I do work in super and I understand how important it is. So, yeah.
So when you put it that way, it seems so simple to educate migrants, yet it's really not part of the settlement process at this point in time, is it?
Not at all. I don't think they get anything about it, considering it's a requirement, government required to pay super 12%. I'm surprised that there is no conversation early on. My idea would be to just as simple as giving them a starter kit as soon as they arrive with guidance on how to choose a fund that's right for them, what super is and why it's important. And then once they have the MyGov account set up and it's linked to the ATO, it'd be really great if they prompted and nudged and reminded to look into super, set up their account. And then once that account has been set up, maybe we can get a data flag, and sent to the funds. So funds know that they're new here. They don't know what super is. They're finding their place in a new system, and we can actually personalize and tailor comms. I work in marketing for UniSuper, and we lifecycle marketing, and we do all the comms and emails, and we really use the data to see what's the gap there and to help our members. So I can only imagine what we could produce if we have the right data in place.
And your own experience, as you said, you and your family came here fleeing war. And as a young child, you found yourself having to translate documents. And this is the case for so many Australians, so many people living in Australia. What are the numbers of people who are actually born outside?
8.6 million were born overseas. That were nearly a third of the Australian population who doesn't know our super system, didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
Those are big numbers, and that's a big opportunity. And how many more are coming in? Don't quote me on this, maybe we can cut this one out, but I think it's about last year 647,000 that immigrated here. So if that is year on year, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, and not obviously not all of those people will stay, but
no,
some will. Some have language barriers, some don't. There are differing levels of financial literacy as well, and all of these things. These are Australians. These are people who actually are contributing, as you say, to nursery product. And your idea made a lot of sense, which is why you are one of the co-winners along with Jack, and I'm delighted to say we're going to be at ASFA doing some work with you, doing more research into the experience of people from culturally and diverse communities as well, which would be great. Jack, you focus on a different group. What's your one super big idea?
Yeah, so it's Supercharged Female Financial Futures is the working name. We can workshop that. But in a nutshell, it's ameliorating the unpaid care penalty that women disproportionately face. through a specific super account that is set up for every baby girl born in Australia. But at the outset, actually saying that, it was wonderful hearing Diana's presentation and learning about her experience as an immigrant, because right now, that's a blind spot in my idea. Baby girl born in Australia, what about somebody who arrives at a young age? And so it's the beauty of a conference like this. Already there's cross-pollination, there's workshopping ideas. So I really want to call that out, prompted the thought in my mind, Diana, and would want to address that if this was progressed further in any way. But in a nutshell, so when a woman reaches preservation age, that money that has grown, and it would be worth roughly $160,000 by preservation age, based on current super performance, she receives a disbursement into a super account of her own that she nominates, and that disbursement is equal to the value of the median gender super gap between people turning 60 that year, or the total account balance, whatever is less. And the idea is it is something, it is an amount of money. It's not going to create perfect parity, but it will provide some compensation for the 2/3 of women that take extended time, I beg your pardon, 80% of women that take long time out of the workforce to provide 2/3 of the unpaid care in this country. And, it's wonderful to hear Diana speak about how her personal experience motivated her to enter the competition, because it's the same thing for me. I had a mum who, this wasn't some Handmaid's Tale type situation. She's a very learned woman, very much a feminist, but she decided that she wanted to take time out of the workforce. That was a sacrifice she knowingly made. And as a kid who, the teachers and specialists thought that I was dyslexic, having her at home to help me for my reading and writing, it's the reason I'm there today. And it just makes me sad to think that parents are very happily married, but of course, people do separate. And if mum and dad did separate, she gets half of dad's super, but there's nothing there to independently compensate her for the sacrifice that she made. So maybe a broader comment as I editorialize. I mean, right there, 2 policy ideas motivated by personal experience. I think it shows you that this is an industry where people care. This is an industry where people are motivated by the social mission right across all the different kinds of super funds that we have. And it's just a beautiful thing to be a part of.
Yeah, oh, that's great. So great to hear. And your ideas were excellent. I mean, they're not, formalized ASFA policy, but the point was to try and encourage thinking and give a stage to fresh thinking as well. And I know that the delegates here will have gone away thinking differently and more alerted to the issues that you have created, which are essentially issues of equity in superannuation. Jack, you work for Legal and Prudential. You're a superannuation lawyer, so you're not in a fund. How did you end up working in super?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think financial services was always of interest to me. I liked the sounds a bit grandiose, but I liked the intellectual challenge. It's such a complex framework. It was something that always stimulated me through my legal studies. And then I initially actually took a role with Industry Super Australia, which is now the Super Members Council, and that was with a policy lens focus. And I was somebody that wanted to start working before I finished my degree, and then eventually I got around to finishing that degree and thought I'd remain in policy. But managing partner Jonathan Stefanoni and I had connected at an ASFA event, funnily enough, and had always kept in touch. And he said, would you like to explore how your legal degree might have application in superannuation? And sounds bizarre, but it wasn't something I thought of. And I thought, oh, maybe that is the right fit. I'd like to give it a go. And so I've been with the firm now for about 1.5 years, and we do a lot of work with industry funds. We work with funds of all different kinds, but I think that ethos of social mission is something that I see very readily with all clients, and it's something that gets me out of bed in the morning, knowing that the work that I'm doing is something that is benefiting, even if it's many degrees removed and many years away, somebody's retirement, and everyday Australian's retirement.
What about you, Diana? How did you get into super? Because, as you said, your experience was not growing up with being particularly educated about super. How did you get into it?
I started the contact center. So while I was at university, I actually worked at AOP. But then a few years later, once I finished university, I actually got a job at the UniSuper contact center. And so I think that's given me the great understanding of super, what members want, what they don't like when they see communication, what is driving their frustration. So I think it really helps me in my current role and everything I do. And as I say, once you get into super, you kind of get out. And it's such a privilege, honestly, like saying that, there's so much opportunity. Like I started as the contact center, and now I'm in a lead role, like all within 4 or 5 years. So I think,
It's so interesting you talk about working at a contact centre and the education that gave you into members, because there's one major supermarket where everyone who joins as an executive, whatever level you join, you have to go and work on the shop floor for 2 weeks. Yeah, just to understand the business from the ground up. Do you think that that would be, like, is that a good idea in a super context, working at a contact center?
I think it is. And I think I was speaking to a university, or I had to send university students a little snapshot. And I think don't be scared to, out of university, take that contact center job. It might not be what you want, but it does open doors and you do get to learn a lot as well, you know? And I think any contact center, you have the great training, great experience, and there's so many pathways once you're in. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about those pathways as well, because I think for people listening to this, want to talk about future leaders, and we want talent like yours to stay in the sector. What sort of pathways do you see? Do you feel like, Jack, you have a way to grow in this industry? And anyone listening to this who might be thinking, oh, I'm not sure, I feel a bit stuck, or I don't know if I want to join super, what would you say about possible career pathways?
Look, I would say it's such a unique operating environment. Once you're in, there's so much scope to either specialize or to actually broaden your horizons and get experience across different sections. I mean, look at me. I went into the sector working in policy, but then by virtue of just meeting and speaking with people, there was that opportunity to progress into the legal pathway because given how unique the area is, that initial touch point that I had was worth so much to someone else. And it's amazing talking to different lawyers, you know, within funds, but also different firms. And super is something that for so long, for whatever reason, was just kind of overlooked. Nobody, obviously lawyers worked super funds, but nobody specialized in super. And in the last 10, 15 years, that's really changed very significantly as the scale of the system has just evolved so exponentially. So I think it's a long way of saying, you know, once you're in, the fact that you're in is valued. And if you want to broaden your horizons within the sector, that opportunity will be given. It's a great thing.
Cool. Definitely echoing what Jack has just said. I think, given my experience as well, anything I'd wanted to do or anything I wanted to put my hand up for, I was able to achieve and do, especially for UniSuper. And I'm sure that extends beyond that. Being at this conference for the first time, I can really see people do want to network. People do want to give you the opportunities, you know, what you're looking for. So I definitely do think there's opportunities there. If someone is stuck, I think, you know, maybe they did have a conversation, you know, and they can work through that. Because, yeah, there's opportunity there.
People might be able to hear a bit of rattling in the background. That's they're starting to break up the conference. It's been a very packed 2 days, and they're starting to push things away. But yeah, just in terms of your where you see yourselves going and where you see the superannuation sector going, you know, we are predicted to have the second largest pool of funds under management within a very short period of time. It is a growing sector. I wonder how you see it going. And also when you think about things like the advent of AI, in terms of the jobs that you both do as well, how does that make you view jobs in superannuation and your own security, I suppose, your own job security and those of your colleagues around you?
Yeah, I think there is, like you said, it's a growing industry. There is a lot of opportunity there. I think we were talking about it today on the panel as well. I think we at UniSuper, we embrace AI. I think particularly in the marketing team right at the moment, we are experimenting with Adobe Express AI assistant, I think it's called. You know, we need to produce a lot of content, but we want to make sure we produce it efficiently and, you know, effectively. So it'll be embracing everything. Policy is changing, you know, legislation changing, technology is changing. So I think as a super fund, we do embrace those things as they come. I know at UniSuper we do, and I'm sure hopefully at where you're from as well, you do embrace those opportunities as they come. But yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I think AI is it's inevitable. It's here. It's not going away. But there's real opportunity. I mean, I look at the work that we do at the firm and with funds, it's now so much easier for us to figure out what the law is, because, you know, you do have that co-pilot device with you. There's lots of different software types. We always check it naturally, like you don't let AI do your job for you. No one ever should. But I think the point is a task that would normally take me 3 or 4 hours, now figuring out what the law is and how it applies, it now takes only an hour, which means that I have 2 or 3 hours to sit down with the client, and the value add is, okay, so what's the solution? What clause do we need to draft to fix this gap that we've identified? What's the conversation that you need to have with your service provider? Can we help you and be a part of that service provider? So AI is allowing us to do more with less time, which creates more value for members, for the end recipient, and that's only a good thing. I might caveat that with, you know, I think I want to be very respectful that there are people who are still studying or looking for a career change, and AI might be a bit daunting because it's removing some of those entry-level positions. And I've seen a lot of younger people I know studying law, those paralegal jobs that were once there, you know, maybe they're not there as readily. So it's this is a call to industry leaders. As much as AI is a great efficiency dividend, please don't take away those entry-level opportunities. Make sure that you're still investing in giving people or creating the opportunity for people to perform what you might see as a more rudimentary task, but it's important someone's given that opportunity, is it's their gateway into the sector, and that's how they mature into a future leader.
Yeah, I think about your contact center experience as well, Diane. You know, so foundational, so important to actually get you understanding the sector, and exactly we want to make sure that people have those foundations. Yeah. Guys, it's been great to speak with you. Thank you so much for your entries. Thank you for your ideas, your one super big ideas. They've certainly provoked a lot of commentary, a lot of thought, I think, and it's great to see the future of superannuation in really very good hands. I know a lot of people have found it very inspirational. So thank you for coming and thanks for chatting to us on Voice of Super.
So great for the opportunity. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and we'll catch you next time on Voice of Super. I'm Madeleine Morris. See you next time.